Hey guys, it's time for an absolute classic, because today we're going to make the best Pigeon Pithivier you have ever seen. First we're going to clean some pigeons, then we'll use all the parts for different components, from seasoning to sauce to confit. Everything will be used. We're also going to make a watercress farce or mousse, our own puff pastry, and a delicious miso and celeriac cream. So, let's begin. First we're going to make the pigeon sauce. I used 6 pigeon carcasses I kept in my freezer from previous dishes. Add a drizzle of oil to a hot pan and pan fry the pigeon carcasses all around till golden brown. Do this on a medium heat. Meanwhile, cut 250 grams of shallot in half and clean them. Then slice them in thin slices. After that, clean a celeriac by removing the peel. I prefer to do this with a chef's knife, but a peeler also works. Then cut it in small, even cubes. After that, slice 200 grams of mushrooms in thin slices. I use a white bottom mushroom. Now once the pigeon carcasses have a golden color, add the sliced shallot, the sliced mushroom and 200 grams of the celeriac cubes. Keep on pan frying till all the vegetables have a golden color as well. I do this on a medium heat. Then deglaze the pan with 150 grams of Madeira wine and 250 grams of white wine. Reduce it till almost all the liquid has evaporated. After that, add a liter of water with 500 grams of cream, half a bulb of garlic, 4 bay leaves and 2 grams of black peppercorns. Let it simmer on a low heat for at least 6 hours. Meanwhile, we can clean the pigeon. I use these beautiful Anjou pigeons. First cut the head off and also remove the neck. Then cut both the paws off by the joints. Now make an incision in the wing and break the joints. Cut them off. Do the same with the legs. Incision, break the joints and cut off. Then slice the back open and twist it to break it. Cut it off as well. Keep the livers and remove the other intestines. Throw these away. Also remove the heart from the carcass. Now use a sharp thin knife to cut both the breasts off. Start at the top and cut on the bone so you don't waste anything. Pull the skins off the breast. I don't use the skins for this dish, but they're a great base to make a tapioca cracker. So good. So now that we've cleaned or divided the pigeon, we can store the breast we can just store covered in your fridge. These, so the carcass and the little bag where all the intestines are, we can just store in our freezer and use it for the next time we're making a pigeon sauce. And then the livers we can use for the sauce as well. The heart we're going to brine and then dry and use it as a grater because it's such a good seasoning. And then all the other components we're going to confit and use as a filling. Now back to the sauce. Once all the flavor has extracted, drain it and let it drip for at least 30 minutes so you don't waste a single drop. After that, bring it back to a simmer and use a ladle to remove any fat or protein that's floating on top. Once you're also happy with the flavor, add the livers from the pigeons we just cleaned and blend it to bind the sauce and flavor it. Then pass it through a fine sieve once more. Tap the side on the sieve to speed up the process. Give it a final taste of seasoning and then keep it in your fridge for later. Now for the confit pigeon. Take the legs, wings and necks and season well with salt. Transfer it into a pan and submerge it with melted goose or duck fat or a neutral oil. Also add 3 cloves of garlic that are cut in half together with a bay leaf. Now bring this to a simmer, then turn down the heat and let it confit for around 2 hours. The legs are cooked when the meat falls off the bone. Then take the pigeon out of the fat and clean it by removing the bones, skin and any other unwanted parts. Transfer the cleaned meat on your cutting board and chop it into a nice tartare. Don't over chop it, you still want some texture. Then transfer it into a bowl and season it with the sauce we just made. Set it aside for later. Now for the pigeon heart seasoning. Mix 50 grams of coarse salt with 50 grams of sugar. Then place 2 tablespoons on a tray and put the pigeon hearts on top. Cover the hearts completely with the remaining cure and let them sit in your fridge for 2 days. After that, rinse off any remaining salt and sugar in clean cold water. Now let them dry at 60 degrees Celsius for around 8 hours. I always leave them overnight. Once dry, keep them covered in your fridge for later and grate it when needed. Then the miso and celeriac cream. Cut a shallot in half and clean it. Now slice it in thin slices. Then melt 50 grams of butter and glaze the shallot with 3 grams of salt and 40 grams of a dark miso. Mix it well to create an even mixture and glaze it till the shallots have softened. Now add the remaining clean celeriac and turn up the heat to pan fry it. Once it has a nice golden color, deglaze the pan with 300 grams of vegetable broth and 20 grams of apple cider vinegar. Keep on heating till almost all the liquid has reduced and the celeriac is cooked. Then transfer it into a blender and blend it till smooth. This will take a couple of minutes. After that, add a knife tip of xanthan gum and blend it for another minute. The xanthan gum is not necessary, but it will prevent the cream from leaking once bladed. Now transfer it into a pan, cover it with wrap and keep it in your fridge for later. Then the watercress and maitake farce. Take 2 big maitake mushrooms and clean them. Tear them in small even pieces. Now add a drizzle of oil in a hot pan and pan fry the maitake with some salt for a couple of minutes. Then add a nut of butter and a bay leaf that I've teared in half. Pan fry it till the maitake is golden all around. After that, transfer it on a tray, remove the bay leaf and let it cool down completely. Now for the watercress coulis. First, pick enough watercress for 75 grams of leaves. The stems I keep for another recipe, but I won't use them in this dish. Then season a pan of boiling water with salt and blanch the leaves for 30 seconds. Directly cool them down in ice water to prevent them from turning brown. After a minute, squeeze all the water out of the leaves. Transfer the leaves into a blender and also add 90 grams of vegetable broth, 10 grams of apple cider vinegar, 2 grams of salt and a knife tip of xanthan gum. Blend it till smooth. Then pour it into a bowl and keep it in your fridge for later. After that, mix 180 grams of cold chicken breast with 3 grams of salt and 50 grams of the chilled watercress coulis. Blend it for a minute or 2. Now add 60 grams of crème fraîche and blend it till smooth. Just beware the farce doesn't heat up from the friction. Then transfer it into a bowl and add the pan fried maitake mushrooms. Fold the maitake in and set it aside for later. Now take a Savoy cabbage and trim the bottom. Take the leaves off one by one and remove the core. Be sure to wash them well to remove any bugs or dirt. Once clean, blanch them in salted water for a minute or 2. Then directly cool them down before laying the leaves one by one on a kitchen towel. Cover it and give it a good press. Now cover the inside of Ron's mold with the cabbage leaves and fold them down. Then add a layer of the Confit pigeon and press it down with a cocktail stamp. Cover it with a cabbage leaf and then add a thick layer of the watercress and maitake farce. Level it as well. Now season the pigeon breast with salt and black pepper on both sides. Lay a breast on the farce and lay another one upside down next to it. Cover the breast completely with the cabbage leaves and keep it covered in your fridge for later. Then the puff pastry. Puff pastry consists of 2 components. The bourrage, which is the butter, and the détroit, which is the dough. Let's start with the bourrage. Transfer 350 grams of butter into a mixing bowl and also add 75 grams of flour. Now mix this on a low speed until it's a smooth and even mixture. You don't want any air in the butter, so this will only take a couple of seconds. Then transfer it on some parchment paper and shape it into a square that's 20 centimeters by 20 centimeters. Now wrap it completely and let it set in your fridge for 3 to 4 hours. Then the détroit. Transfer 300 grams of flour in a mixing bowl and also add 5 grams of sugar, 5 grams of salt, 125 grams of ice cold water and 7 grams of white wine vinegar. Now mix this on a low speed for a minute so all the ingredients can come together. Then add 65 grams of butter and mix it for another 4 minutes. Once it's a nice dough, transfer it on your worktop and press or roll it into a square that's also 20 centimeters. Wrap it tight in parchment paper and let it rest in your fridge for 2 hours. Then dust some flour in your worktop and lay the bourrage, so that's the butter, on there. Now roll it into a long rectangle that's 45 centimeters. Then use a brush to remove any excess flour and place the détroit in the middle. Now fold the butter around the dough. Then let it set in your fridge for 30 minutes. Temperature is key when making puff pastry. After that, roll it into a long rectangle, remove any excess flour and then fold it in 3. Then turn the dough 90 degrees and repeat the process that we just did. So roll, dust and fold. After that, wrap it and write down the amount of folds we just did. Then let it cool down in your fridge for at least 3 hours. After that, take the dough out of the paper and turn it 90 degrees again. Roll it into a long rectangle, dust the flour off and fold it in 3. Then turn it 90 degrees and repeat the process once more. Then wrap it again, write down the number of folds and let it cool down for at least 3 hours. Once it's chilled again, we just need to do one more fold and then let it cool down for 3 hours. So in total we fold it 5 times. After that, roll your puff pastry on a floured worktop into a big sheet. Then cut it into the desired size. You need one circle, a slightly bigger circle and a small decorative one. Make a small hole in both the bigger circle and the small decorative one. Now place the small puff pastry circle on a piece of parchment paper and make little holes with a fork. This will prevent the dough from rising up. Then add a layer of egg yolk. This is egg yolk that has passed through a fine sieve. Take the filling out of the mold and place it in the center of the puff pastry. Brush some egg yolk on the filling as well and gently place the bigger circle on top. Be sure to press out any air. Then brush some more egg yolk on top and place the decorative pastry on there. Now brush it completely with the egg yolk and let it set for 30 minutes in your fridge. Repeat this process 2 more times. So yolk, rest, yolk, rest. After the 3rd time, cut it with the star cutter and remove any excess dough. Then use the smallest cutter to decorate the dough and prevent the tips from rising too much. I added a thin layer of oil on the cutter to prevent the dough from sticking. After that, use a sharp thin knife to decorate how you prefer. Now bake it at 185 degrees Celsius for 18 minutes. Then transfer it on the tray with a rag to prevent the bottom from becoming soggy and let it rest for at least 10 minutes. I do this in my heat roll at 45 degrees Celsius to prevent it from cooling down too much. First, gently cut the dough with a serrated knife and then switch to a long sharp knife. This way you get a clean cut both on the puff pastry and the filling. Just look at that beautiful inside. After that, season it by grating some cured pigeon heart on top. Then place the slice on the plate and add a spoonful of the cream next to it. Also add 3 dots of the watercress coulis and then finish it off with the beautiful pigeon liver sauce. Okay guys, that's it for today, and you know what I'm gonna say, but it looks incredible. I love making or cooking classics, and this is such a classic. I mean, with the tools that Chef McKinley gave, you can definitely bring it to the next level. Obviously you can also make it without, but with the tools it's so super helpful and you can really make it so even for all your guests. So definitely recommend getting those. But just look at that beautiful shine. Also on the sauce, on the lovely watercress coulis, the miso cream, the miso celeriac cream. And then let's talk about the layers, because those layers, I mean, super happy. It smells incredible. Let's just dig in. Yeah, and almost ate it all already, but that proves that it is a classic because it's so tasty. The texture of the puff pastry, all those lovely fillings, the maitake mushroom really comes through. It balances perfect with the pigeon, and then the pigeon seasoning, so the cured heart and the pigeon liver sauce. I mean, it's a flavor bomb, but it's so well balanced, and I can't wait to see your result as well. So please let me know in the comments what you want to see next. Like and share the video, and be sure to subscribe. And also there should be a new button somewhere on the screen. I haven't seen it myself because it's the first time I'm going to be able to use it on my YouTube videos. But if you press it, you boost my channel, and that really helps me. So just press it a couple of times or once. I'm not sure yet. I tried to figure it out, but I'm also not super handy with computers when it comes to that. But I really appreciate all the support, guys. See you next time. And as always, bon appétit.